found the place all right?
Yeah, no problem at all. Clear instructions, so here I am.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Terry, I was just wondering if you could tell me a bit about what it is that's brought you in today.
Well, a feeling of discomfort within the job that I'm doing at the moment. About 3 months ago, I answered a job advertisement that looked like it was going to be something that I would really enjoy doing. And here we are 3 months down the track, and as time's gone on, it's just felt less and less comfortable, and I felt like, well, I don't know whether I've got the right job. I don't know whether it's the right place for me to be. I mean, the place itself's okay. You know, the people are great. I really like being there. I really like the people, you know, and I don't mind being, you know, the atmosphere is really good. That they're very supportive, and the work I can do. It's not a problem with the work, but it's something I just feel uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable. I just thought I can't do this anymore. Can't really put my finger on what it is, why it is.
Okay, and I'm wondering why today, Terry, is the right time that you've decided, well, you know, after 3 months, I need to do something about it, and that day is today.
Yeah, because last Friday I felt like running out of the place, screaming, absolutely screaming. It just seemed that there was a lot of demands being made on me in a very short time, and it just got to me, and I thought, I can't do this. But it was crazy because I can do it. But again, there's this confusion. Am I in the right place? Am I doing something that I really want to do, or is there something else? And I just got tired of it. And I thought, if I don't get out, if I don't do something, if I don't go and talk to somebody, then I don't know what might happen. But I found myself being right on the edge. Right on the edge.
Okay. So Terry, I'd just like to ask you a bit of a different question, if I can. It's going to need to have a bit of imagination on your part. So would that be all right, just to change tack slightly? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. I want you to use your imagination, and I want you to imagine, if you can, that tonight, when you go to sleep, a miracle happens. And when you wake up in the morning, all of your problems are solved.
Wow.
And I'm just wondering how you would know that all of your problems are solved. What things would be different? What would have changed?
Oh, that'd be great. I would feel different because I knew that I wouldn't be going to the job that I've been going to for the past 3 months. That's the first thing. So there'd be that relief of pressure or of feeling uncomfortable. I would be living in somewhere else that would be cooler. Not where I am now. Someplace that's definitely cooler. With my wife in this place as well, this new place, and doing something completely different, something that I would enjoy doing. And they're the immediate things. That's what comes to mind immediately. As you say it, I would feel good. I would feel much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And much more at peace with myself and probably everybody else, including my wife.
Okay, yeah. And Terry, you mentioned doing something different to the job that you're doing now. Do you have any ideas about what sort of thing you might be doing instead?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, can you tell me a bit about that?
And I think maybe this is the reason for this discomfort. What I really, really like to do 5 days a week is what I do now 1 day a week, which is work on radio.
Okay.
It's something that I've enjoyed, I grew up with, and it's been part of my life for a long time. If given the opportunity, that's what I'd love to do. I really would. Yeah.
What sorts of things do you do on the radio program? What does that involve?
I do a lot of interviews on local issues, local topics, a lot of phone interviews, face-to-face interviews, play a bit of music, but what I really like is talking to local people about local issues and local identities. The community sector, I do a lot of talking within the community sector and helping them promote their activities in the local area. So that's what I would really love to do.
Wow, okay. Terry, you've created a really clear miracle picture. You've talked about a different job, very different to what you're doing now, being involved in community radio and doing that full-time rather than as a part-time. maybe even living in a completely different area to where you're living, and also still with your wife in the picture.
Absolutely, yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Terry, I'd just like to ask you another, I guess, an exception question. I'm just wondering whether there are times when you've been able to live somewhere else, where you felt a bit more comfortable, where things haven't been so hot and humid for you. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, one of the challenges at the moment is the heat and the humidity where we're living.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, and I can see myself living in a much cooler climate. And I've had a couple of experiences of that. I've got a brother that lives in Tasmania, and I've been to visit him a few times, and that's a very different place to live.
Okay.
But probably the biggest experience of not having to deal with humidity was when I lived in Scotland for 10 years. That was wonderful.
Right.
That was absolutely wonderful. So yes, I've had an experience. I know what it's like, and I know if there's no humidity, it tends to be colder. But I would rather be in a cooler climate than necessarily a humid climate.
Okay.
So,
what sorts of differences did you notice in yourself when you lived in the cooler climate?
more energy. I felt like doing more things, and I didn't feel like I was restricted, because what I've started to do is to tie myself to being, or restrict myself to being in places that are air conditioned or cool.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes on a weekend, if it's too hot in the middle of the day, there's not the inclination to go out and just to be part of the outdoors. So that was different when I was in Scotland. Although, mind you, in the middle of winter there, that was a different story. You could still go outside, but it was a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah.
But it was still something that I enjoyed doing. So yes, being more active and being able to be outdoors more, which I enjoy doing.
And having a bit more energy.
Yeah.
And would you say perhaps even a bit more social?
Yes, but not necessarily, because I can still be, if I go to someone else's place or if I meet someone at a coffee shop or a restaurant, it's usually air conditioned, or I usually pick a place that's air conditioned. But it could be, but it's more just being able to be outside and to move around more freely.
Okay, all right, and just feeling a bit more comfortable in yourself as well. Yeah. Okay. Terry, I'd just like to ask you a bit of a different question again this time. This is a scaling question where 1 on the scale is, oh, that's not really me at all, I don't think I could be able to do that. And 10 is absolutely, definitely, I'm going to do that. That's me. Okay? So this question is about how confident you think you would be on the scale from 1 to 10 of being able to achieve some of the parts of your miracle.
Oh, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Definitely an 8.
An 8?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty high, Terry.
Yes,
Okay.
It feels like the impulse is there. So,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And another scaling question as well. This is, again, the same. 1 being, oh no, definitely can't really see myself doing that at all, to 10 being, yes, absolutely. How willing do you think you are to make effort towards achieving your miracle?
It's probably about the same, but it's more likely a 7 rather than an 8.
Okay, that's still pretty high. That's still pretty high on the scale. When you think about when you came in and you were saying, oh, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit confused, I'm not sure if I could be in this job, or something's not quite right, to saying, actually, I'd like to be on radio, maybe in a different place with my partner, and you're saying, yes, I'm motivated and wanting to do that. That's
Well,
big, Terry.
I think it's hearing that, that, oh, when you're offered the opportunity, I go, yeah, okay. So, yes, I think that's probably why the motivation's there.
Yeah, it feels to me like you've got a bit of energy about you when you were even thinking about that compared to when you first came in. I'm just wondering, Terry, have you got any ideas about how you might be able to take even the next step to move towards making your miracle happen?
Well, definitely talking with my wife, because for potentially such a big move, we definitely need to be on the same wavelength and communicating. Research, looking at other places in Australia, because I think it will be Australia, of where we might live that's cooler and definitely doesn't have the humidity. And talking with people perhaps who've lived in other parts of Australia. We've got some friends of ours that have.
Okay.
And so that might be a possibility as well.
Yep. Well, it's
Yeah.
getting more real
Yeah.
the more you talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, you've had your experience overseas and that's helped you understand something about yourself. But now you're saying, okay, well, I don't want to do that. It's in Australia. I'm wondering whether your brother who lives in Tasmania, you mentioned him earlier, might be someone who could be a resource person for you.
Oh, yes.
In terms of
well,
finding out.
he already has.
He already has.
Ah,
Okay.
yes. He
Yeah.
likes to
Yeah.
send little snippets every so often about
Okay.
real estate prices and things like that.
All right.
Oh,
Very
yes.
helpful.
Very helpful.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Terry, I'm just wondering, do you have you feeling as though enough has been talked about today to give you a bit of where to go from here and something to do when you leave our session?
Yeah, it's helped me just really verbalise it out and imagine what, you know, in a bigger picture than I thought of than I had thought of before.
Okay.
What it might look like. So yeah, and I can imagine the talking that I need to do.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I have. I've got some very positive moves out of the session.
Excellent. All right. Well, if you'd like to make another appointment, you know, in the future or now or whatever, I'm sure, you know, I'd love to meet with you again and see how you've been going.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.